Right, it's obvious I have to present it here. It's the only time she's actually got the rhino. The tail! It's not from Phony Fanty at all.
Objection!
Of course they'd have an identical tail. Sheesh. Miss Woods, I know this trial has been very hard for you. But can you relax now? You are, without a doubt, innocent. Mr. Wright, what wild assertion are you making now? My wild assertion is simply this. The two stuffed animals were mixed up. The tail the defendant's fingerprints were found on wasn't that of Phony Fanty. Right. It was the tail of her gallery companion, Bumrap Riney.
Objection!
What? What nonsense is that? I concede they're both stuffed animals, yes, but they're completely different characters. The tail is the same, actually. An elephant and a rhino. They're as distinct as a defense lawyer and a prosecutor. But are they really so different? Both defense lawyers and prosecutors strive to protect the peace through law. Even elephants and rhinos have some similar characteristics. They're both grey, for example. Anyway, this poster is all you need to prove my assertions to be true. If I may direct the court's attention here, you'll clearly see how the two got mixed up. Alright, point out the tail. Ooh, it's actually got a nice little finger too. Present! Well, would you look at that? The two tails are exactly the same. Yes, exactly. The two stuffed animals are based on entirely different animals, but the design of their tails is exactly the same. Oh god. Go watch his fucking... Ew! His hair! It looks so strange. Order. Order in the court. As long as the possibility exists that the tail belongs to Bumrap Riney, we can no longer consider it to be decisive proof that the defendant handled the bomb. As things stand, I consider the charges against the accused unsubstantiated. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Payne? He probably does wear fair care, to be honest. Oh, yes, of course, Your Honour. Yeah, get owned, bitch. Oh, that was great, Mr. Wright. You turned things right around. Yeah, it's not over yet. But at least we managed to hold out this long. I believe that brings our proceedings for today to a close. Mr. Payne, I'm afraid you have some serious investigating ahead of you. Yes, Your Honour. Very well. Let us reconvene tomorrow. Court is adjourned. Alright. Oh, we actually did just go straight back. Oh, pardon me. Ugh. That was so exciting, boss. We did it. True to form, you managed to just barely pull it off at the very last moment. True to form? Gee, I never knew you had such a glowing opinion of me. Thank you for everything you're doing. You did great, Miss Woods. You really stuck it out there. Stuck it out, not stuck it out there. You got really brave at the end. Just when we needed you most, Junie. Thanks to you, we were able to turn things around. Also, I don't think Athena likes Phoenix. I don't think there's any woman in Phoenix's life, aside from his daughter. But he doesn't have any love interest. He had one, and she turned out to be a very evil woman. Well, you were the one who gave me that courage, Athena. Really? Thanks. So be honest, was I any help at all? Of course. Without you, we would have never gotten out of that tight spot. That's good to hear. You may still have a lot to learn, but you can bet I'm going to give it my all. Oh. It'll be so good that one day you'll call me your partner. That's what I like to hear. Analytical psychology. The ability to solve the riddles of a person's heart. Athena's true potential is beginning to really shine through now. Hey, where's Apollo anyway? Good question. I almost forgot about him. I assumed he'd still be here in the lobby. Oh, I know. Maybe he's still in courtroom number 4. Courtroom number 4? What would he be doing at the scene of the explosion? When I came out to the lobby to rest, I told Apollo about Bumrap Riney. I told him I dropped Riney in the courtroom, as I was trying to escape before the blast. And then Apollo said he had an idea where Riney might be, so we went to take a look together. Huh, I guess Apollo can be pretty nice when he wants to be. So you went looking for Riney together before you were called back into courtroom number 5? Yes. I'd had some time to rest, so I was able to go and look for him. But then they called me into courtroom number 5 to testify. Apollo insisted on staying there, though. With all those injuries, I wonder how he's managing. I think Apollo might have figured something out. Wonder what it was. He told me, I'm going to look for evidence to clear your name, Juniper. Just maybe he found some new piece of evidence. Anyway, we better go and get him. Good idea. Oh no, we're still on the trial day 1. Oh, shoot. And yeah, Phoenix's thing is basically being...
Trial's over for today!
I keep forgetting this cutscenes. It's so weird.
I know you're... No.
Oh no. Oh, really? Really? Of course. Is that going to be the end of this half? Yeah, of course it is. Bastards. Well, I think I'm still going to just... Ooh, that's a nice theme. I think I'm just going to do the tutorial case. I don't think it'll take that long. It means I probably won't finish it until 4 AM, but it's fine. He is still alive, yeah. He's just been knocked out. I only know he's still alive because he's in later parts of the game. At least what I can gather from previews. Although that means someone knocked him out because he was... Maybe he was about to find decisive evidence, or, you know, evidence that would help us, and they didn't want that. I mean, I know the T guy did it. It showed him at the start of the case. It showed him with a bomb. Saying something like, the best part about bombs is they don't... Or they erase and destroy with no discretion. It was something like that anyway. This isn't exactly how I envisioned the second day of this trial to start. But given how things ended yesterday... Good morning. They're both deep in thought. The mood sure is tense. Not that that's any surprise. Oh, hey. Did you read the paper this morning, boss? Huh? The paper? That came out of left field. You didn't read it? Then you don't know the big news. Somebody spotted an abominable snowman way up in the mountains. Tell me you know the difference between a paper and a tabloid, Athena. It might show up in the forest where you live, Junie. So you'd better watch out, okay? And back to the tense silence. You really should read the story for yourself. I couldn't even begin to do it justice. Justice? Oh no. Trigger word. Oh, poor Apollo. It's all my fault. Shit. Payne is a dumbass because always the attorney, huh? I mean, he's a prosecutor for starters. But yeah, Payne is he is a dumbass. He's always the tutorial prosecutor. And a complete pushover. He's very bad at his job. No, Journey, what was I thinking? I'm so sorry. What we found yesterday was not Apollo's dead body, thank goodness. He'd been assaulted by someone with a blow to his head, and was lying unconscious. We rushed him to the hospital right away, and it looks like he's going to pull through. But it was still quite a shock to stumble onto a scene like that. And yeah, Payne's only a prosecutor for one case. He's always the prosecutor you face in the first case of every game. Or a Payne of some sort. It's not always the same guy. Is Miss Woods alright, Athena? Well, I managed to get her to stop crying. Now she's resting on that sofa over there. I guess she really feels responsible for what happened to Apollo. Honestly, I think if you went against Payne for every case, the game would be nowhere near as good. The cool thing about these is, like, the prosecutors you face. Like in the first game it was Miles Edgeworth, the second game it was Franziska von Karma, the third game it was Godot, in Apollo Justice it was Clavier. And they're all just fantastic characters, but Payne's just kind of like a bland guy. And also not a very good prosecutor. Poor Junie. She believes that the reason Apollo was attacked is because he was helping her look for something in that courtroom. Oh? Guess I can see why she'd think that. By the way, how are you doing? Who, me? Yeah, you. I know you're concerned about Miss Woods, but are you alright? Me? No, I'm doing just fine, boss. I mean, yeah, it was a huge shock, but I'm alright. People who have studied analytical psychology are great at times like these. After all, they've learned how to control their own emotions too. Widget doesn't look too thrilled. Somehow, I don't think it's as easy as she makes it out, or as she makes it sound, not makes it out to be. But there's no denying she's a real trooper. Apollo doesn't remember a thing, does he? Yeah, he can't recall anything from the time right before he was assaulted. Nothing about what he was doing in courtroom number 4 or who assaulted him. The doctor said it's probably due to that hit he took to the head. Assaulted in a court of law, and losing your memory at that. I know how that feels. Haha! Call back to the second game. But who in the world would do such a thing? Huh, Mr. Wright? Just wait till I get my hands on the coward who hurt our Apollo. Now, Athena. I thought you said you were in control of your emotions. Let's just focus on helping Miss Woods, okay? But I admit, I'm just as upset as you. Yeah, it is a mood ring. It's great. Okay, boss. You're right. Apollo's assailant can wait until after we clear Junie's name. That's the spirit. Now let's see. I'd better check the court record one more time before the trial starts. If memory serves, when I have more than 6 pieces of evidence... Oh, really? We're still in tutorial mode? I should be able to switch pages with this panel. To Mr. Wright, I'm ready whenever you are. Alright. Let's get ready to rumble. You bet. Alrighty. I was just gonna do the same thing. Well, it's day 2. Court is now in session. All rise. I just love that scene so much. With everything that happened with Apollo, I didn't have time for a proper investigation. I can't let that stop me, though. I have to get this right for Miss Wood's sake, and Apollo's too. Is it gonna do it? Not entirely sure. I think it will. Courtroom number 5. Yeah, it does. Nice! I just love this so much. Court is now in session. All rise. Court will now reconvene for the trial of Juniper Woods. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is also ready, Your Honor. Now then, I believe I instructed the prosecution to further their investigation. Were you able to locate the remote switch in question? I'm afraid the remote switch is still missing, Your Honor. Ba-bum. I must say I'm disappointed, Mr. Payne. I'm not angry, just disappointed. I apologize, Your Honor. Aha! Looks like the prosecution is just as unprepared as I am. Perfect, we're on even ground. There is a separate matter, however, that I would like to bring up during this trial. A separate matter, you say? And what might that be? I assume you are aware that another incident occurred during yesterday's trial. And speaking of course of the assault on Mr. Justice in the ruins of courtroom number 4. Uh-oh. Why is he bringing that up? Yes, what a truly harrowing experience it must have been. Poor Mr. Justice. At the time of the attack, Mr. Justice was not alone. He was with the defendant, Miss Juniper Woods. Fuck's sake. He's gonna try and pin the assault on her? God, you really just want her to be guilty, don't you? Dick. He isn't going where I think he's going with this, is he? I think he is. Of course. The prosecution wishes to indict Miss Woods on the charge of Mr. Justice's assault. Fuck's sake. Order in the court. Mr. Payne, the incident under deliberation here is the courtroom bombing. The assault on Mr. Justice has nothing to do with this trial. But I believe there is a connection between this case and Mr. Justice's assault. Please take a moment to consider these facts. Both events occurred in courtroom number 4. This is the location of courtroom number 4, where the unconscious Mr. Justice was discovered. As you can see, it's quite close to where Detective Arm's body was found. Courtroom number 4 diagram in the courtroom as it was when Apollo was discovered after the assault. Well, actually, she was resting in the lobby, and when she was resting in the lobby, she went into courtroom number 4 with Apollo. That's what they're trying to say, is that's how she could have done it. Because the only people in courtroom number 4 were her and Apollo. The question is, why did the culprit feel the need to maliciously attack Mr. Justice? Why indeed? What do you believe their motive to be, Mr. Payne? I believe Mr. Justice found something in that courtroom while Miss Woods was with him. Evidence that fingered her as the perpetrator of the bombing. You mean he found some incriminating evidence? Precisely. And so I surmise that the defendant picked up a piece of rubble and hit Mr. Justice on the back of the head in order to silence him. Junior would never do such a thing. She was devastated when we found Apollo hurt like that. Miss Cykes, please control your outbursts. It is the prosecution's belief that by deliberating on Mr. Justice's assault, or just Justice's assault, we will draw ever closer to the truth of the courtroom bombing itself. Yeah, I mean, it's quite obvious she wouldn't do it. Very well. Miss Woods is hereby officially indicted on the charge of assaulting Mr. Justice. Are you shitting me? What? Why are you listening to Mr. Toupee over there? Although, considering our conversation yesterday, I think Apollo might have figured... Yeah, that's why, it was to silence him. But it wasn't her that did it. I think Apollo might have figured something out. Wonder what it was. He told me. I'm going to look for evidence to clear your name, Juniper. Maybe the two incidents really are related after all. I would like to start by hearing from the defendant herself. Very well, bailiff. Please bring Miss Woods to the witness stand. Oh boy. Poor Junie. I'm sorry. I can't seem to stop. Just have some... Just inhale those flowers. Miss Woods. I guess she's still really upset about Apollo. Miss Woods, you went to the ruins of courtroom number 4 with Mr. Justice, did you not? Yes, I did. Good, good. If you would then, please testify about what happened to the court. Right. Alone with Apollo. Sounds like her dream come true. During the trial yesterday, I was overcome by a fit of coughing. Apollo stayed with me, and we went to the courtroom ruins together. But then I was called back to this courtroom to give testimony. Apollo insisted on staying behind in courtroom number 4. I swear I didn't attack Apollo. Why would I ever hurt such a kind person? So, Mr. Justice stayed by your side while you were feeling unwell? Whoops, I didn't realise that I pressed that. My bad. I lose track of where my mouse is. What an admirable young man. I thought his loud voice was his only outstanding feature. He may look like a little imp at times, but Apollo can be really nice too. I hope you didn't hurt her wrist backhanding that one out. But one has to wonder, why did Mr. Justice stay behind in the ruins? I think Apollo might have figured something out. Something? What kind of something? Something to do with the courtroom bombing kind of something, I think. Oh ho! New evidence for the case, was it? That's a very big kind of something indeed. I believe so. He mentioned looking for some evidence when I was called away. Objection! Just as I thought, there is a connection between the two incidents. But the defendant has told a very big lie, Your Honour. What lie is that? When she learned Mr. Justice would be looking for evidence, she attacked him. She attacked him to give herself the chance to destroy that evidence. No. I never... Oh my god. Miss Woods repaid Mr. Justice's kindness with violence. Oh, wow. Yeah, of course. Of course, yeah, sure. That's totally not a framing. At all. We found the proof of her foul deed there in the courtroom ruins. They use this gag too much. Woods. What on earth What on earth? Do you see it? There in front of Mr. Justice's right hand? Witness the message he left us. It's written in blood. W-O-O-D-S. Why, isn't that... That's right, Your Honour. What the hell was that? I just realised I got an email. Oh, okay. That's right, Your Honour, it says Woods in capital letters. What? I submit that Mr. Justice left us with the name of his attacker before he fainted. Again, that happens too much in these games. You think if the killer, or the person that assaulted them, wouldn't they have noticed this, or are they going to try and say that they waited till they left and then they did this crap? It's so old. I do kind of wish they would use a different thing. I mean, I don't mind, it's just, you know, they use this kind of thing, this framing thing, a bit too much. Apollo is shown collapsed on the floor, the bloody writing is also visible. No, that can't be true. Why would Apollo write my name? He didn't. Mr. Wright, the nerve of him leaving that message. Why would he do this? Hey, don't take it out on me. I don't understand it any more than you do. When we discovered Apollo yesterday... Yeah, the blow to the back of his head probably would have knocked him out. But they use this too much. In my personal opinion. Apollo. I still love the games, it's just... they use a bit too much. Of the same stuff. No. We didn't even have a chance to rush over to him. As soon as security heard Athena's scream, they ran in and cordoned off the area. After that, they were there in courtroom number 4 with Apollo the whole time. We couldn't investigate anything ourselves. We had to leave everything to the police. Still, I never thought they would find some bloody writing there. Now then, please begin your cross-examination, Mr. Wright. You got it. Right, it's time to press every single statement. Alone with Apollo. So she was overcome by a fit of coughing. What do you mean? You always cough when you get nervous, Miss Woods? Yes. Mr. Wright, please do not make Miss Woods nervous by pressing her so ruthlessly. But that barely even qualified as a quasi-question. Let's help her relax with a little small talk before we dive into the cross-examination. You know, ask her about her hobbies and her crushes and stuff. Her crushes? Really? I don't know about this. Just ask her about Apollo. Perfect. I'm assuming that, to be fair, what Athena just said was a huge hint, I think. It's like, ask her about her crushes. Why exactly did you go to the courtroom ruins? We went to look for my medicine to stop my coughing. Your medicine? Why would your medicine be in courtroom number 4? She dropped it when she fell? I dropped it in the heat of the moment. Bumrap Riney. He was keeping my medicine safe for me. He has a little compartment that I can put things in, you see? And Fenty has the same type of pocket. That's where the bomb was inserted. They'd put my medicine for my coughing fits inside Bumrap Riney. When I told Apollo about it, he said he'd help me go look for him. There was so much rubble in there. I was worried, but there was no rubble or anything in front of the witness stand. So when we got inside, Apollo went straight there and started looking for my Riney in that area. It was so nice of him to do that for me, in spite of all his injuries. Oh my god. Apollo is so strong and kind, just like the trees of the forest. The way she makes him sound, you'd think Apollo was some kind of ancient god. Well, she probably is for him. For her. God, I keep referring to her as a him. I don't know why that keeps happening. Oh wait. So that's why you went to the ruins. That seems to be quite an important fact. Please add it to your testimony, Miss Woods. I'm quite certain I just clicked. It didn't register. Whatever. So, Apollo started looking for Bumrap Riney near the witness stand, where there was no rubble. Okay. Wait. I don't actually want to wait, can I actually just look at my court record? Oh, I can! They introduced that. Before, if I wanted to look at evidence, I had to go into present first. What was this? Oh. Well, the witness stand's there. There's a lot of rubble near the witness stand. So that's a contradiction. Yeah, looking for Bumrap Riney near the witness stand where there was no rubble. Objection! Yeah, no. I think that's why Phoenix did that. Oh, wait. So he started his search with the witness stand, you say? Yeah, it's looking like it was moved. That's right, I guess maybe he wanted to start from the furthest point in the room. He was being so brave. And strong. But that's odd. Under the circumstances, he shouldn't have been capable of that. But he was, and he still is. He might not look it, but he really is brave, and kind too. No, not that. No, that's not the part I'm finding fault with. Someone has a crush on Apollo. What you are claiming is something that no one should have been able to do. But I should think that anyone can be brave and kind if they wanted to be, Mr. Wright. True, anyone can be brave and kind, but if you would please take a look at this diagram. With the courtroom in this state, how is it possible to walk up to the witness stand? Oh! I see your point. The rubble blocks off access to the area around the witness stand. Does such a tiny inconsistency even matter? Perhaps the witness is simply misremembering it. Great, now I'm not so sure it matters. A real man doesn't make mountains out of molehills, you know. But that's precisely what Mr. Wright does best. Wow, wow, I call slander, Your Honor. So, was it really impossible to approach the witness stand? I have to say, it's a bit hard to tell with any accuracy from just this diagram. Mr. Payne, do you have any other photos of the crime scene? Let me see, Your Honor. Yes. I have one more. The assault. Ooh. I see marks of the wheels. This thing's been moved. Here it is. It's a more pulled back version of the photo I presented before. So Apollo was shown collapsed on the floor, the bodies... Oh, the bloody writing is also visible. Doesn't say anything different. It just added 2 photos. Huh? What's that hunk of metal on wheels? Is that... Oh, it's the transport case. Mr. Payne is... Oh, is the metallic object in that photo Mr. Tonate's bomb transport case? That's right. Is there some problem? Oh yes, that transport case was there in courtroom number 4 when the bomb went off. Must have been there ever since. Oh, that's it. Okay. Miss Woods, have you remembered something? Yes, I just realised. Its position. It's different from before. I mean, you can tell that from the wheels, or the wheel lines. Drag marks. God. Its position? The position of what? The position of that big metal thing. The bomb transport case. Yes. When Apollo and I went there, it was in a different place. Where the cases in the photo was open space. So it was easy to search the stand. Ah. Oh, that's what that square thing is. Oh, it never even occurred to me, I just thought it was rubble. So essentially... Right, I see. That big fucking thing there, that's not rubble, that's the metal... That's the transport case. If you move that to the right, yeah, there's no rubble there. But that would also... That would cover up the bloody writing too. Which means it was moved. Okay. I mean, it's kind of obvious it was moved. So, where was the transport case when you and Mr. Justice saw it? Oh, it's now going to show us. As I recall, I think it was more to the right. To the right? Then that means... In that case, the case was over there at the time of Apollo's attack. Who cares where the transport case was when? Or was when? What difference does it make? A big difference. It has nothing at all to do with what we were talking about. Oh, that finger wag. Where the transport case was has everything to do with this discussion. In fact, it's so important that it's enough to turn the prosecution's argument on its ear. What? Yeah, bitch. Well, that certainly sounds very relevant indeed. And you sound as though you know where the case was at the time of the attack. Yes, Your Honor. This diagram represents the crime scene as shown in the photo. And this is where the transport case was at the time of the assault on Mr. Justice. Alright, I have this. The bomb transport case was here at the time of Apollo's attack. Kaboom! Boosh. Your Honor, I assert that this is where the transport case was at the time of the assault. But that's... Yeah, I think you now understand. Inconceivable. Miss Woods, was this where the transport case was when you saw it? Yes, that's where it was. Thank you, Miss Woods. I'm sure the court has noted an interesting fact about this position. The transport case covers up the writing in blood. Exactly. If the transport case was in that position at the time of the assault, then no message could have been written there, because the case was in the way.